If I asked you right now, what is the deepest, most interesting, most unanswered, most famous question in the history, you'd probably tell me it's why do we exist? What is the meaning of life? But I wouldn't exactly agree. I mean, of course, it is the most famous question, but for me personally, the most interesting question in existence is why does Akrasia exist? Akrasia is just another word for the gap between what we know we should do and what we want to do and what we actually do. And I'm calling it Akrasia because that's what the Greek philosophers called it first. And I like the term Akrasia because it shows how ancient this problem is and it gives it its own name. And I think that this problem is very deserving of its own name. I have talked about this with numerous people. I have heard many thousands answers to the question of why do we do something against our own will so often. Perhaps when you get out of bed very early in the morning and you hit that snooze button, despite knowing damn well that you gotta get up now and you don't have much time and you end up oversleeping and you knew you're gonna end up oversleeping. This is the question that is the most fascinating to me right now. Because if you ask me, why do we exist? What's the point of life? I have struggled to answer that question when I was young, for us, most of us, for a really long time. But for a couple of years now, I actually have a formulated question answer in my head. Of course, it's not a fully defined answer because there isn't one. But my answer to that question is we don't know. There are many possibilities, but there comes some power with not knowing. It means that you can give the meaning of life. You can decide what the meaning of life is yourself. So for example, for me personally, it might be creating connections, maintaining them, achieving personal goals, living happy, healthy life, so on, so on. I could give many more reasons. And so like I have a rational answer to the questions, like there, and the rational answer to the question of why do we exist is we don't know. Like we know we can look back a couple of millions years ago and kind of speculate what was happening in the universe, but alternatively we don't know. So I feel like I have as much of rational understanding as there's possible. And also when it comes to like this intuitive and emotional understanding of the answer, I also have one, like the meaty part, and it's the part of it's the part of you can decide what the meaning of life is yourself, right? As I said, like creating connections and stuff. And it's actually also based in science as well. I mean, my answer is based in science. Like there are studies about what makes us happy, and so it's for me it's connected because the reason for living is to be happy. But I can also like give a even more detailed answer to that question, like how to be happy, and there are studies on that, and I think there are excellent studies on that. So I have this like I have very well formulated rational answer to that question, and I also have this intuitive and emotional answer to that question, right? But now let's go back to the question of Akrasia. Why does Akrasia exist? Why does the gap between what we know we should do and we want to do and what we actually do exist? And I know some of you are now saying that it's our primal brain fighting, taking over, that it's the lack of detailed instructions, that it's maybe some dysfunctional mechanics of our brains, and you can give thousands of different answers, but they're very, very short-sighted. Because, for example, if you tell me that it's our primal brain, or let's analyze the situation of sleeping in your bed and not wanting to get up. You know you should get up to perhaps study, but you don't. So I might say it's a primal brain, just being comfy in the bed. It doesn't see the need to study, and someone might be satisfied with that answer, but it's such a short-sighted answer, because I may ask you why. Why would you get overpowered by your primal brain? You can very well formulate to yourself why you should get up. You can study because you have studied before, despite having this primal brain. So it's not like you're just fully primal animal, not being able to ever take control of yourself and do something that doesn't bring you immediate gratification. So it does not answer this question. And I have heard thousands and thousands of answers to that question, less and more detailed. And in the end, it always ends with the question of why. Why does any of these mechanics, any of this overpower you? And I don't have an answer to that question. And I am fascinated by that question. And that is why I believe it to be the most interesting question in the history.